Good morning and welcome to Beat the Number, NBA Morning Edition. My name is Abby. We're here to discuss with you the slate of NBA games for this upcoming Friday. Again, we're trying to get ahead of the numbers for the point spreads and get ahead of the numbers for the over-unders, the totals. So we're going to begin with the first game on the docket. This will be San Antonio at Charlotte. This game opened up at, opened up at 11.5, and the total is 224.5. Right now we're seeing, let's look here. It's still at 11.5. It hasn't really moved it that much. Still 11.5. However, the total is at 227. That's what we're seeing right now, 227, 226.5. So we are going to check before we check the injury report. If you're wondering where we're getting this information from, we're getting it from oddslogic.com. This is where we have all the latest injury reports for the injuries, up-to-date line movements, and over-under total movements. That's oddslogic.com for all your latest information. So now we're going to check the injury report here. That's San Antonio and the Charlotte. So first we'll check on Charlotte, get an update on the injury report for Charlotte in this game. So just Jusuf Nurkic, he was acquired from Phoenix in a trade, so he is questionable to play tonight. LaMelo Ball, leg, questionable, so he might play tonight. Vasiljevic Minchuk, questionable to play, ankle. Cody Martin may play tonight. Brandon Miller out for the season with a wrist injury. Trey Mann back is out. Grant Williams is out. On the San Antonio spot for the Spurs. They are healthy. No injuries whatsoever. So we'll look into this game further. That's San Antonio and Charlotte. So this is the first meeting of the season between these two teams. They are 3-7 the last 10 games. San Antonio 3-7 against the spread, 8-2 to the over. Spurs 2-3 last 5 games. And are 3-2 to the over, San Antonio. So the Spurs, they haven't really been covering on the road. They've had problems covering on the road. They got by Atlanta, but just by a point. But other than that, they haven't really covered on the road, San Antonio. Charlotte, 2-8 last 10, 5-4-1 against the spread, 3-7 to the under. Charlotte's lost 6 straight games, but they had been competitive in 4 of the 6 losses. They have covered the number. So they're a very good home dog. So in this case, I do trust Charlotte here to cover the points. I like them at 11.5. They covered Milwaukee at home the last as a double-digit dog at 10.5. Covered Denver at home as a 12-point dog, and the Clippers as a 13-point dog. Now there's 11.5-point dogs versus San Antonio. I like Charlotte to cover here. I like the points. I think Charlotte covers the points, covers the number at 11.5. As for the total, I don't have a play on the total. Let me look at this one more time. Yeah, no play on the total, just a pass. Just Charlotte and the points at 11.5. Next game, Cleveland, Washington, we're going to skip. I have no interest in that one. It's minus 17, 234. I have no play on that game at all. I'm going to skip that completely. Next game, Milwaukee, Atlanta. This one opened up at minus 5, total 237. It's gone all the way up to 6. Now we're seeing 6.5 in this spot for Atlanta. I mean, for Milwaukee. We will get the injury report, starting with the Atlanta Hawks on the Atlanta Hawks side. Atlanta, George Niang, acquired in the trade, is questionable to play. Karis LeVert, questionable to play. Terrence Mann, questionable to play Friday against Milwaukee. Clint Capella is out for personal reasons. He has back issues and personal reasons as well. Jalen Johnson's shoulder's out for the season. On the Milwaukee side, Brook Lopez will be playing this Friday. He's available. He had issues with his knee, but he's going to play. Kevin Porter Jr., acquired in a trade from the Clippers. He is questionable to play this Friday, so I'm not sure if he'll make his debut or not. Giannis, knee, questionable to play Friday at Atlanta. So we'll look into this further, Milwaukee, Atlanta. Right, so they played 2 times already. First game, both games were in Milwaukee, actually. Milwaukee is here by 4 points at home. The total was 236. Atlanta won 119 to 104. They covered the 4 points and it was under the total. Second game in Milwaukee, that was December 4th, the first game. Second game, December 14th in Milwaukee. Milwaukee this time was a 3.5 point favorite at home. Milwaukee won 110-102. It was under 233.5. Milwaukee, since then, in their last 10 games, 5-5. The last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. So Milwaukee, 1-4 in their last 5 games. Milwaukee 3-2 to the over. Atlanta, 1-9 the last 10 games. 1-4 their last 5. 4-1 to the over. So both teams right now are playing to the over, despite the first 2 games going under. The only way I can look in this game, there are 2 ways I can look. Atlanta, they've covered 4 of their last 5 games as an underdog. 4 of their last 5 games they've covered as a dog. So they've done pretty well as an underdog. So I like Atlanta here. Even at 6.5, I'll take the Hawks. I like Atlanta here to cover. And I like the over. Over 240.5. I like the over here. That's the play for me. Next game on the docket. Miami at Brooklyn. This one opened up 6.5. Total 210. Right now it's still at 6.5. It's going to 211.5. That's what we're seeing here right now. So we get the injury report for on the Brooklyn side first. So look here, Brooklyn Nets. Okay, so we have Trendon Watford. He is, I believe he is questionable. Let's see. Let me get an update. Cam Thomas is out with a hamstring injury. Bojan Bogdanovic is out. Let's see. Look at this Watford kid, Trendon Watford. Let's see. He is. Let's see. Let me get the update in a moment. Let's check here. I apologize for the delay. Let's get an update. We're trying to get the update here for one of the Brooklyn Net players. So this guy here, he is questionable to play Friday. So he's questionable. So we're going to look at Brooklyn, Miami. This game's in Brooklyn. They've already played twice already. The first game was in Miami, December 23rd. Miami was a 9.5-point favorite. Total was 210. It went under the total. Miami won 110.95, under 210. Second game in Brooklyn, January 25th, about a week ago. Miami was a 7-point favorite, and the total was 210 again. So Miami covered. They won 106.97. It was under the total. So same thing again. The total is 210 again for a third time. And Miami's a 6.5-point favorite. So look at Miami. The last 10 games, 5-5 last 10, and 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Miami 3-2 in the last 5 games, and are 3-2 to the over last 5. Brooklyn 3-7 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 2-8 to the under. Brooklyn 3-2 last 5 games, 1-4 to the under. Brooklyn as a dog, they have covered their last 3 games as an underdog. One was at Charlotte. At Charlotte 2, they played Houston in a home and home, and they covered both games in the home and home. The only way I can look at this game, let me look at this. Yeah, there's 2 ways I can look at this game. I like the under 210, Brooklyn, Miami. I like the under. And I'm going to lean to Brooklyn. I like Brooklyn here as well. Not only has Brooklyn covered 3 straight games as an underdog, but Miami, they're in a sandwich spot. They got to play Boston next. That's the bigger matchup. They play the Celtics at home. So, and since Miami's beaten up Brooklyn 2 times already, they beat them up twice. No real competition. I can see them looking ahead to Boston at home. That's the next game. So it's a sandwich spot for Miami, and a good opportunity for Brooklyn to stay within the 6.5 points. It's 6.5. Let me just double check it. I saw 6.5. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it's still at 6.5. Hasn't moved. Yeah, I like Brooklyn here on the points. I gotta take Brooklyn. It's actually come down. Some books have it coming down to 6. I like Brooklyn here. Brooklyn in the points for me. Next game, Philly at Detroit. Open up 1.5 Philadelphia. Total 224. It's now we're seeing threes across the board. Now we even saw 3.5. We'll get the injury report here on the Detroit side for the Pistons. Tobias Harris upgraded to probable. That means he's going to play. He'll play in this game. So he's with the Pistons now. Tobias Harris, ex-76er. So he'll be playing against his old team this Friday. Cade Cunningham, ankle's questionable. So 50-50 chance for he may or may not play. Jaden Ivey out indefinitely. On the Philadelphia side for the Sixers, Jared McCain out with a knee injury because he's out for the season. Andre Drummond ruled out with a toe injury. Joel Embiid will be playing this Friday. Gorshan Yabusel, questionable to play Friday. Quentin Grimes will be playing this Friday as well. So Paul George is out there. Joel Embiid's out there. I have a play on this game as well. That's Philadelphia and Detroit. So they have played twice already. The first game in Philadelphia, Philly was a 4-point favorite. The total was 219 and a half. Detroit covered in 105.95, under 219. Second game in Detroit. Again, Detroit was a small favorite, 2-point favorite. Philly covered and won the game 111.96, and it was under 216.5. That was the total. Third game now. This is it's changed now. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll check out Philadelphia's last 10 games. 5-5 last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 7-3 to the over. So there are 2-3 last 5 games, Philadelphia, and 3-2 to the over last 5. Detroit, 4-6 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 to the over. 2-3 last 5 games, Detroit. 3-2 to the over. So both teams are playing to the over at this particular time in the last 5 games. But I do like the Sixers, Charlie. I think Philly wins this game. I like him on the money line. I like the money line play. And yeah, I like him on the money line. Let me look at the total. I'm gonna pass on the total. I like Philly on the money line just to win the game. I like him in the spot. I think for sure they bounce back here. Yeah, they bounce back here. I think they get this win. Yeah, I like him in the spot. I like him to win the game here. Next game, Toronto and Oklahoma City. I'm not really gonna dive into too much of this one. Yeah, this one I'm gonna pass. I'm not touching this game here. Nothing of interest here for me at all. Final game we're gonna look at, Utah Phoenix. This is the one we're gonna look at. I have a play here. 7.5 is the opening number for Phoenix at home. 231.5 the opening number for the total. It's now we're seeing 9 across the board. 8.5, 9. Mainly 8.5, but 9s are popping up. And the total here is is come to 232. So we're seeing 232. 231.5, starting to go to 232. We're even seeing 232.5, but the consensus right now is 231.5. Actually, let me see. Let me look at that again. Yeah, it's 231.5 right now. So the injury report here: Phoenix, Ryan Dunn questionable with an ankle injury. Bradley Beal questionable with a toe injury. Kevin Durant questionable to play Friday with an ankle. Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen. Let's see his status. I believe he's questionable. Let me double check that. He's available up to play. He's going to be playing this Friday, Lauri Markkanen. So that's good news. Cody Williams, ankle, questionable to play Friday. Jordan Clarkson is out. He's ruled out this Friday. Colin Sexton out indefinitely. So we'll look into this game further. That's Utah Phoenix. I think they've played already a few times. We're going to double check. I do have a play on this game for sure. Yeah, they played 3 times already. This is the 4th and final meeting. First meeting November 12th in Utah. Phoenix is a 5.5-point favorite. And Phoenix covered 120 to 112. It went over the total, 230. Second game in Utah, Phoenix was a 6.5-point favorite, total 232.5. Phoenix won 134-126, and it went over 232.5. Third meeting in Phoenix, there were 10.5-point favorites, and Utah covered the 10.5. But Phoenix won 114-106. It was under 229. So we'll look at the last 5 games here. Utah, 2-8 last 10 games, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 to the over/under. Utah 2-3 last 5 games and are 2-3 to the under. Phoenix 5-5 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Phoenix's last 3 straight games. Now they're back home. They're off a 4-game road trip, and they're 2-3, 1-4 last 5 games, and are 5-0 to the over. Phoenix. So they've gone over in 5 straight games. So yeah, I have a play in this game. Yeah, so my play that I like here, I like the over in this game. I do like the over. I like the over 232.5. I like the over here. And I'm going to take Utah to cover the points. I know Phoenix has dominated Utah, and they've covered them very easily. But I find, I'm looking at Utah here. Utah, they have covered 3 straight, as a dog, they've covered 3 straight games. I know they're at home. I realize that they've covered at home. But I feel that they can carry this on the road at Phoenix. Remember, they've covered at Phoenix before. The last time they covered was a month ago. Last month they covered over there as a 10.5 point dog. Now they're 9. They're up to 9, 8.5, 9 point dogs. So I like Utah for that. For the reason I mentioned, they've covered 3 straight games. Number 1. Number 2. They covered the last game they covered in Phoenix, January 11th, as a 10-point underdog. And the third reason too is because Phoenix, they're in a sandwich spot. They've beaten this team 3 times already. So this is the 4th and final meeting. I understand Phoenix, they've lost 3 straight, but still, it's still to me a sandwich spot whereby they're not going to take Utah seriously. Because up next they have Denver. They got Denver coming up the next day. So they play Denver the next day. So it's a sandwich spot for Phoenix, and this is a situational spot here for Utah to take advantage of that. So that's why I like Utah here in the points. 8. I would wait. Try and get at 9, because it's going to 9. So wait till it gets to 9. If it gets there, take plus 9. If you get a 9.5, take the 9.5. Yeah, I would wait. I wouldn't jump on Utah yet. Just wait, because I'm seeing, like I said, 9's coming up. And I would take it at 9, 9.5. Either one, take Utah. Utah's the play. And I like the over. Phoenix games have gone over. They've gone over in the last 5 games. They've gone over the total. So I do like the over here a lot. The first 3 meetings between Utah and Phoenix went over. 2-1 to the over. I think this goes over here. So the market's moving in the right direction. Phoenix playing no sort of defense whatsoever. You can see that in their games. They're giving up easily over 100 points. So I like Phoenix here. I like him in this spot. I like the over the 231.5. Utah to cover the points plus 9, 9.5. I like that here. All right, so thank you very much once again for tuning in. My name is Abby. Thank you very much for joining me for Beat the Number as we try to get ahead of the market for the totals, the over-unders, get ahead of the market for the point spreads, the line moves. Whether you fade or follow the picks that I've made for this game, it's up to you. I just look at the action and look at the games how I see fit and how I choose what I like. I just go with that. You can choose to go for that or not. I still hope that you cash your ticket either way. I hope you cash your ticket, get a winning ticket. Stay true to yourself, stay blessed, stay humble, believe in yourself, and don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button so you can provide some more of this information for you, so you can get any information on the best bets for the over-unders, the spreads, the totals, the whole 9 yards. All right, till next time, take care, and join me later on today. I have the NBA prop session. We're going to do NBA player props, maybe some team totals in there in between there too, but player props, and maybe some team totals. Let's look at some team totals. All right, so join me this afternoon for that. Until then, take care. Peace. Good luck.